castle where the digital dreams come alive. CSCG takes place from May 1 to 5, from visualization to the virtual space. Scientific sessions take their place.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Amna Josic. I'm from Sarajevo University, and the topic of our research paper was presentation and quiz visualization of virtual procedure manuals. Fast advancement of technology has enhanced our way in many different ways. We best see that because we have large amounts of data at any time in an instant in our hands. One aspect of how technology advancement has impacted our lives is also virtualization of objects and simulation environments. It allows us to design, implement, and test products virtually, which is very helpful with running safety-critical codes without the endangerment of people or objects or surroundings. It is extremely useful for that we don't have to own or have access to a physical copy of product, which is super important for expensive and fragile products. User manuals, as we all know, they contain detailed information about products and its functionalities. It is basically an instruction set for the operation. But, however, high amount of detail makes them very long, which in turn makes them very hard to perceive by customers. And it has been shown that display of visual information is very important for users' satisfaction, because we are more and more visual types. We perceive information visually. And it has also been shown that the quality of the manual is correlated with the quality of the product by customers. It doesn't have to be right, but it has been shown that it's like that. VR and AR have been used in training, but information is always conveyed textually. What we wanted to do with our approach is to use 3D arrows and hand models for conveying the information. We have multiple types of information and various types of instruction for the usage of an example product. We also have a quiz mode for testing the user's newly acquired knowledge. The quiz mode uses randomization and difficulty levels to ensure that the users are not just mechanically memorizing which answer is right. And also we have no usage of text. Several approaches have been made. In our paper, we went over it in great detail. Because of the time, I'm not going to go over it. VR has been used in safety training, in applications for practical learning and performing live experiments, in the training systems for first responders, and in virtual assembly simulation with force feedback. However, VR technologies can be expensive because they need certain architecture. So AR is also used, and several AR technology that we came by during our research are for assembling hydraulic hoses for cherry picking and maintaining avionics equipment. When comparing AR with printed manuals and videos, we have seen that speed of using AR is slower, but the quality of the performed task is much greater. As I already said, information is always mostly textually presented. Our approach has two modes, the procedure presentation mode and the procedure quiz mode. In the procedure presentation mode, the user cycles through all the steps of the procedure and tries to learn the information. Scene for the presentation contains a single procedure, which has procedure steps, and one step can have several operations. Operation can have multiple hand objects for each user, as more than one user can be required for the step. We use hand models, and they are separately configurable. You can configure left, right, or both. And the position, both hands and each finger are rotatable to help mimic the normal behavior of our hands. Different positions of the hands convey different messages. Both hands up means that you need to push the object. If the finger is pointing forward, that means that you need to push the button. If the hand is to the left with slightly bent fingers, that means that you need to lift the object. As I already said, we can have more than one operator, and they can have different operations in the same step, and single operator can have different hand gestures for different things that need to be done in parallel. We also use arrows which contain multiple pieces of information. For example, shape conveys the required path, the tip of the arrow, the direction in which you need to turn the object. Color presents operation group. This is for the steps that require multiple operation by multiple users. A single operator is designated a color. And the body of the arrow, normal means moving the object, dashed means what speed is required for the operation, twisted means that you need to pull and twist simultaneously, and circular means rotational operation. The procedure quiz mode contains the same number of steps. Each step contains all objects related to the step from the presentation. Each question is related to a single procedure step, and users are required to choose everything I just said from the location, operation type, operators, simultaneous operations, directions, and hand gestures. Users can cycle through each location, change the parameters, delete the operation, and circle through all hand and arrow objects so they can choose the one that they want or think is correct. We have multiple dimensions of difficulty. After each step, user is informed if they answered correctly. The incorrect answer is displayed by the red cross. The number of incorrect answers is shown, and whether or not they fail or passed or failed this test. Virtual scene we made in Unity real-time development platform. Quiz all manipulated objects and sequence of operations are assembled in Unity editor without importing data from external sources. And we have 4 different objects. This is a complex procedure because we wanted to show all the different capabilities. As I said, the user can cycle through the procedure steps. It can be repeated. Now I will show and describe all the steps. Here's the scene. Step 1, you need to push the button next to the handle and pull the handle all the way down. In step 2, you need to do the exact same thing, but on the other side of the box. Then 2 people need to grab the box and lift it onto the cart. Then you need to twist the pin so the cart wheels are unlocked. Then you bring the cart to the scan area. Then you slowly turn the crank for full 2 circles, so the cart reaches the scan finish area. Then you bring the cart to the loading area. Then you lift the box onto the device. Then you turn the range selector knob full circle. And lastly, you push the button so that the red light turns to green. The quiz mode contains correct and misleading information to test the certainty of the user. Each step contains several incorrect locations and operations. Initial setup of directions and groups is randomized, and each answer contains different hand positions in the operations. Difficulty is configurable. You can increase or lower the number of incorrect locations, operations, or similarity to the right answer, and information from future steps is included, also to test the user's certainty. We have also conducted a small survey with 15 users, slightly more male than female. Most of them are college graduates. And a large majority of them would describe their abilities when it comes to the computers as advanced, which is contradict with something I will tell you later. And here is the age ranges. For the presentation mode, users were presented with the image of a single step of the virtual procedure manual and the text description. 47% chose the virtual manual image as their preferred design, with most of the people being from 45 to 49 age group. And younger users are more open to the virtual product manuals as expected. For the quiz mode, users were presented with an example question and the correct answer that needs to be chosen. Maximum age group that was familiar with the usage of AR technologies is 30 to 34, and high number of users said they would be willing to undertake the quiz, but they did not feel that they possessed a high enough level of digital skills to do it, which is contrary to the perceived level of skill that they selected at the beginning of the survey. And in conclusion, virtual environment can be used in product manuals and testing the knowledge. Usage of virtual hand objects and arrows can show information that is very hard to understand or memorize textually. We didn't use any textual information. Quiz has configurable difficulty levels, and the starting configuration is randomized, and virtual manuals should mainly target younger age groups with higher level of education. Thank you.
So thank you for the presentation. Do anyone have a question? Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. The visualizations all looked very understandable. I was just wondering for the movement paths. All the arrows you showed were rectangular. Have you also considered using like curved paths, which would follow, like when I were to move this card, I wouldn't move it front, right, and there, but I would probably move it more along a curve.
Yeah.
So have you considered that, and why have you decided not to do that?
Well, we haven't talked about it, but it can be implemented very easily. Thank you.
Hi. So your virtual environments were not photorealistic. That can be good because it simplifies understanding, or it could be bad because the transfer to physical reality is harder.
Yeah.
Do you have any comment on that? Would a mixed reality training be an alternative?
Well, it was, we wanted, you know, as we couldn't find work that did this like with no text. This is like the first
step.
First version. I will call it first version. I just forgot the word. Sorry. It can be done better, like more realistic, of course. We wanted to show just all the things that you could do.
But do you think more realistic is better, or is it actually, you know, even worse?
Well, more realistic should be better. I think it should be better. It helps users, especially users that don't have technical knowledge, to understand it better.
Okay, thank you.
About the quiz, how did you choose the question?
Well, we did from presentation, we use every step and made the complementary quiz question.
Okay. For the procedure, how did you, why did you choose this step?
Oh, this procedure, why we should,
Yes.
well, it's we wanted to show everything that it could be done. It's not like we wanted to show this exact procedure. It is quite complex. There are many things that you can do, so that's why we chose it. It's not, we are very well aware that this is not something that's very usable. It's far from this exact procedure, but we wanted to show everything that can be done.
Okay. Yes.
So I remember, because first you said that you asked them about their, their computer knowledge.
Yes, yes.
And then they said in the end that they might not have the technical skills. Have you asked them if they have used VR before? Because that might be what make them think that they...
Yeah, we asked them.
So even people who used VR before said that they don't have the technological skills.
Yes, they said so.
Yeah,
maybe I will say maybe it wasn't very clear to them. I don't know what else can, you know, contribute to them not being certain if they can handle the quiz.
Okay, no, thank you, because at first I thought that was the not having used VR before, because that can happen too. Like people know how to use computers, but they don't know how to use, never used VR before. But yeah, that's interesting that even people who used VR before thought that they could not perform this.
Well, that may be a little bit because of them, maybe a little bit because our needs some improvement. You know, you never know.
Okay, thank you.
Swim to the beach where the pixels play. From rendering to VR, it's a pixel away.